OXENFREE is the first game developed and published by Night School Studio, a new development team featuring former Telltale Games and Disney employees. In OXENFREE, you play as Alex. She and her new stepbrother Jonas are joining her school pals Ren, Clarissa, and Nona on an overnight study trip to an old island just off the coast of their hometown. Psst. Study trip is totally the code name for wicked raging party, but don't tell your parents that. The plan is to hang out all night on the beach, drink till you can't remember what school is, and play Truth or Slap, which is a much better version of Truth or Dare because
nobody ends up licking somebody's butthole.
Things end up getting a little tense around the fire, so Ren, Jonas, and Alex decide to go investigate the nearby cave, which has been the big talk among the students that have been to the island before. The rumor is, if you stand at these little rock formations and tune a radio to just the right frequency, strange things will start to happen. Naturally, the first thing we do is whip out our own little radio and try it out. After venturing into the cave a little bit, Jonas and Alex see a strange floating triangle. Again, naturally, the first thing we do is go look at an old armoire. Then we go use the radio to try and tune into it. Unknowingly, Alex just opened up a rift, unveiling the ghosts that haunt the island and who are a part of the island's dark history. Over the course of the game, you'll have all kinds of run-ins with these otherworldly beings, from getting trapped in time loops, to seeing your friends get possessed, to taking a quiz. A quiz? We came here to get away from school! I won't dive further into the story in this video, because this is one that I feel is much better experienced than heard. I know that sounds like kind of a cop-out, but hey, just trust me on this one. This story is very well written, and it's made even better by some top-notch voice acting. They brought in an exceptional group of actors, including Aaron Yvette, Gavin Hammond, and Brittany Johnson. They all brought something unique to their characters and showed incredible chemistry with one another. The gameplay is something along the lines of a Telltale game. You'll walk around to different locations on the island and interact with certain objects and characters to drive the story along. A big part of the gameplay is Alex's radio. You use it to tune into different signals throughout the island to access strange transmissions, drive away ghosts, learn more about historical parts of the island, and even unlock doors later in the game. It's an interesting mechanic for sure. However, outside of these specific moments, it doesn't seem to get much use, unless you get curious about what else you can pick up.
I wonder, could this be one of them there booby traps?
Around the island, you can find more rock formations similar to the ones at the mouth of the cave. If you stand at these formations and find the right frequency, you'll reveal anomalies that contain strangely coded and sometimes downright freaky messages.
The island is famously named after Colonel Caleb Edwards for his glorious and triumphant slaughtering of countless families during one of the great ethnic cleansings of the 20th century. The forceful removal of an ignorant people to make space for destined holders is a time-honored tradition in our still young country. And you will be a part of that heritage, Alex. Do not resist. It will be over soon.
One of my favorite things about the game are these little moments where you'll catch your reflection in a mirror or on the surface of a pond. It all seems normal until your reflection doesn't move. As soon as you notice this, some dialogue options will appear above their head. However, you have no control over what the reflection says. It will choose one on its own and then give you a piece of advice for a situation that will happen later in the game. Seems like run-of-the-mill horror game stuff, right? That's what I thought too, until I came across a topic online discussing those reflections. Those reflections you see are actually other players. At the end of the game, you get to play as one of these reflections and choose what your version will say to another player. It's not live multiplayer by any means, it's just recording your choices for future use. but it's such a cool little element. You can actively try and influence another player's story this way. For instance, you can tell players to stop Jonas from talking to his mom. I was really impressed by that, and it's still one of the things that I like most about the game. Let's talk about the visuals, shall we? I love the use of muted colors. When things are bright and happier, for instance, in the beginning on the boat, it has a warmth and almost a loose and relaxed feeling to it. Then, after things go belly up and it gets dark, the muted colors actually give a more oppressive feel, especially in areas such as Fort Milner and in the woods. Then they bring in very bright reds and greens once the ghosts start showing up. It creates this nice visual contrast that feeds back into the story and reinforces the feeling of, these are unnatural, these shouldn't be here. Character designs are also very well done. Each character has their own very distinct look that not only shows their personality, but also gives each one an instantly recognizable silhouette, which is something they had to nail, seeing as the character models in-game are a bit on the small side. Speaking of nailing it, the sound design in OXENFREE is amazing. Good sound design is integral in a game like this, as it's all about setting the mood and atmosphere. The soundtrack, composed by Scientific, I hope I'm getting that right, is a definite standout. It's definitely a soundtrack that's worth listening to on its own. I never felt like any track was out of place or didn't fit the mood of what was going on. After finishing the game, I certainly had a few tracks stuck in my head. I have been extremely positive about this game so far, so I think we should take this time to balance things out a little. My biggest hang-up with OXENFREE was just how unstable it felt. I played this on the Xbox One, and the game crashed on me several times. It got to the point where I was actually crossing my fingers on each loading screen, hoping that the next area would load in. I didn't let it sour my enjoyment of the game too much, seeing as the developers were well aware of the issue and hard at work on a patch. Aside from the crashes, the game behaved itself fairly well. There were a few minor annoyances, but nothing that ruined the experience. The main one was the fact that the dialogue system would sometimes skip a character's lines when I would make a choice.
Stepbrother.
Really?
Yeah, I know. It's a trick.
Yeah, he's a cool guy from cool North Valley, so let's all try and show him a good time.
And there was one time that Alex came down with a case of Phantom Beer Cup. But, like I said, minor annoyances. After I finished the game, I immediately went online to see what other people's opinions were. The overall reception seemed to be very positive, which is good. It's always nice to see new IPs getting love. If you enjoy games that have interesting stories and characters, then OXENFREE is definitely one worth checking out. The game will take you between 4 and 5 hours to complete, but offers some great replayability with hidden collectibles and a few different endings depending on your actions. For me, OXENFREE was one of those games that just comes out of nowhere and takes you by surprise. I knew literally nothing about this game going into it, which is sort of a rarity for me considering how many trailers and other videos for games I end up watching. I just saw people singing its praises online one day and decided to give it a shot. It's actually really refreshing to discover a game that way. So if you're looking for a new game to try out this year, definitely make it OXENFREE. Who knows, it might just end up being one of this year's best. Hey guys, real quick, just wanted to say thank you so much for checking out this video. It really means a lot. If you want to keep up to date and know when I'm working on or even close to releasing a new video, or when I'm procrastinating on a new video by playing some Street Fighter, you can just follow me on Twitter. And now I'm going to do the typical YouTube thing where, I'm going to leave a couple links to some other videos in the end card there. The like and subscribe button are down there. You guys can click those if you want. You guys can head down to the comments, call me a funny name or something. That's always fun. And then I'm going to end it all by saying thank you guys again for watching. It really means a lot. And I hope you guys have a good day.